Results of our survey of the Athens area. Our survey consisted of short excursions out into the Athens region to record, and in some cases re-record found and generated field material specific to the time and the topography of the terrain we visited. Given the circumstances, we will admit that our survey was not as complete as we intended. To do so would certainly take a lot more time and resources than we allotted ourselves, and which fewer and fewer arts organizations can well afford. So, hint, give to ATHICA. We also apologize for all those of you that wanted to help, but we failed to link up with. I'm not so sure who's here that I made a promise or tried to make a connection. I'm thankful for your interest, but it was like everything kind of went weird. But anyway, having failed to meet with you, we encourage you to submit your own recordings at any time in the future. We will include that in future recordings. Audio creates its own range of temporary boundaries and features of a transitional geography, a land, if you will, that we create or experience, which emerges, exists for a moment, and then expires. We neither enter nor exit from it, we emerge with it. Our job is to attend to it, to map it, and realize it. Our map then is an audio-visual rendering and engenderment of the features of a terrain both found and created. It and ourselves as agents are superpositioned within the actual terrain, an actualized event from inert innocuous elements. Simultaneously, we map the terrain, create the terrain we map, and map the map of the terrain. Now, by map, I do mean recording. Our recordings exist both as representation of the transitional terrain and the terrain in itself. Given this, we are not limited to psychogeography, but may expand on the neurogeography of a region not limited to a broad, expansive terrain, but specific to each individual. For all intents and purposes, what we discovered we were returning to was less a generality of the terrain, but a specificity, there we go, my English again, of individualized anthropology. The human factor was far more prevalent than initially expected. The interaction of humans here formed a system of neurogeographic specific to the spatial temporal event. On Wednesday, our first recruit, Harry Willier, who invited us to his house to look over the lack for a better term, hacked electronics he'd been working with. Using the sounds he generated, we employed these sounds throughout. So here's our next video. house. Later that day, me, Carrie, and Julie went to Ben Burton Park, and we recorded on a waterfall. The water, well, I think the video will show it. Unfortunately for Carrie here, he's the featured performer in this clip. Not unfortunately, but. So I'll play that next. He brought up, we had a metal box per rock, and well, it speaks for itself. This is us setting up. This is the park.